Okay, children, I am back. So there's someone is coming to ask something. Okay, that's it. Okay, children. So under expansion, we are going to learn ideal gas equation and absolute temperature. So last class, we were just talking about what do you mean by absolute zero. So I don't know whether chemistry you have studied or not. I repeat, what is absolute zero? Have you heard about it? Or you are studying first time? Because this is related to chemistry. There's a molecular theory, kinetic energy of gas. That's why I am asking you. Did you hear about the absolute zero or temperature like that? We already know boiling point and freezing point, correct? So today we are those who don't know, and if you are first time, we are learning what do you mean by absolute temperature, or we also known it as absolute zero. This is also known as absolute zero. First we will learn what is absolute zero or absolute temperature, and then we go to the ideal gas equation. So what is the things which is making to invent this absolute zero? The reason is here. The reason means liquid in glass thermometer show different readings for temperature other than the fixed points because of differing expansion properties. That means every material has a different expansion property. For example, iron may expand for if you give more temperature than room temperature. Similarly, copper will expand if you allow some heat, electrical energy pass through copper wire get heated. So all this material. Similarly, liquid, if you give a little type of heat, slowly the liquid starts getting heated. Gas also, if you give the heat energy, gas molecules started moving randomly. So that is because of that, this liquid in glass thermometers cannot measure a proper stable temperature because of the differing expansion properties. And similarly, the gas molecules, I already told you, for little heat energy enough gas molecules get changed drastically. So because of that, they instead of this mercury, usually liquid in glass thermometer, we can use either alcohol or either mercury. So this both will expand faster whenever you, for a slight change in temperature, these things will get faster. So you know the alcohol. Sanitizer is a mixture of spirit and alcoholic part. That's why whenever we rub our sanitizer with our hands, naturally it get evaporated faster. So that is why a slight change in temperature will make these things, both the liquids, mercury and alcohol, to change drastically. So that will not give you a proper measurement of temperature in the for the laboratory purposes and for finding some values. So that is why instead of liquid in glass, we come to an ideal gas thermometer. Why ideal gas thermometer? Ideal gas thermometer, instead of liquid, we filled a particular gas. What is the importance of that ideal gas thermometer means? At low densities, experiments show that at all densities, these gases will exhibit the same expansion property. There is no change in their expansion property. So at low densities, all the gases exhibit same expansion properties. Therefore, it is easy for us to utilize. And why this is exhibit same expansion behavior? Because there are other three variables which is connected to this. So these are the three variables which is connected to the measurement of temperature and heat, measurement of heat energy, that is pressure, volume, and already we learned about temperature. So pressure, volume and temperature. These are the three variables. On the basis of them, we are able to find out the heat expansion or heat absorption or heat releasing. So these are the three important variables. Ideal glass thermometer measures the reading on the basis of these three variables: pressure, volume and temperature. Because of that, we come to a new term, that is absolute zero. So what is absolute zero? It is the minimum temperature. It is the minimum temperature at which It is the minimum temperature at which a thermodynamic system has the lowest energy, so that a gas ceases, CEASES, a gas ceases to exist and its volume turns to 0. So absolute zero is the minimum temperature at which a thermodynamic system has the lowest energy, so that a gas ceases to exist. That means it will reduce its volume forever. That means it get disappeared and its volume turns to 0. That's the meaning. And this minimum temperature is the what we call absolute temperature. So minimum temperature is the what you call absolute temperature. That is what we have learned, 273.15 degrees Celsius. It is minus 273.15 degrees Celsius. So absolute zero is the minimum temperature at which a thermodynamic system has the lowest energy, so that a gas ceases to exist and its volume turns to 0, and its value is known as absolute temperature. So absolute zero's value is known as absolute temperature, and it is equal to negative 273.15 degrees Celsius. That means temperature will be less than 0 degrees Celsius. That's the meaning of negative. And in Kelvin scale, already we have learned this is actually equal to 0 Kelvin. This is actually equal to 0 Kelvin, and 0 degrees Celsius equal to 273 Kelvin because of this absolute temperature. Okay, so that's the definition of absolute zero and absolute temperature. Now we are moving on to ideal gas equation. That is, you have already learned in your chemistry, I think so, two laws, Charles law and Boyle's law. Charles law and Boyle's law is comprises, and together you will get an equation that is known as ideal gas equation. Okay, so ideal gas equation comprises of two laws. First law is known as Boyle's law, and second law is known as Charles law. So what is Boyle's law? When temperature is held constant, the pressure and volume of a quantity of a gas as related as PV is equal to constant. So this is Boyle's law. By Boyle's law, PV is equal to a constant. And this relation is known as Boyle's law. So Boyle's law will be satisfied when temperature is constant. That means there is no change in temperature. At a constant temperature, pressure and the pressure and volume of quantity of gas is equal to constant, and that is known as Boyle's law, and this is practicable only in ideal gas. In our practical life, you know that there is a lot of resistive forces are there. So Boyle's law has some limitation, Charles' law has limitation, but in the case of manufacturing the liquids like chemical solution and all, we will manufacture these chemical substances at a particular temperature, keeping constant and arranging pressure and volume according to that. Okay, then only we are using this Boyle's law as a part of our industry. Okay, and this has been discovered by Robert Boyle. Similarly, Charles' law. In Charles' law, what is constant? At constant pressure, the ratio between volume and temperature, of a gas is a constant. At constant pressure, the ratio between volume and temperature of a gas is constant, and this is known as Charles' law. This has been discovered by French scientist Jacques Calles. And by combining these both laws, we are getting an ideal gas equation, that is PV by T is a constant. PV by T a constant. Or we can write it PV is equal to mu R T. So this is the general PV is equal to mu R T, where mu is the number of moles. Mu represent number of moles. That's why I told you it is related to chemistry. I think you must have studied this law, Boyle's law, Charles' law. Number of moles, mu is equal to number of moles in a sample of gas. If you take a picture of gas or something like that. Okay, and what is R? R is known as universal gas constant. Capital R is equal to universal gas constant. And its value is 8.31 joule mole raised to minus 1 K raised to minus 1. 8.31, it's known as universal gas constant, joule mole raised to minus 1 K raised to minus 1. So this is known as ideal gas equation. And from this ideal gas equation, you can understand that pressure and volume are directly proportional to temperature. Pressure and volume are directly proportional to temperature by ideal gas equation. So that is why we are using ideal gas thermometer for particular this thing. Clear? So according to ideal gas equation, this is the graph. It is in your textbook. You don't have to copy. This is on page number 276. Page number 276. Ideal gas equation. Some books it is used N, otherwise you can use mu also. So in your textbook we are following mu RT. So PV is equal to mu RT. And this is more practicable for bulk substances, not for a macroscopic substances. This is for not for microscopic substances. It is possible only for macroscopic substances. That means bulk matter, volume, pressure and all applicable in bulk matter. So it is a macroscopic form. Okay. So you can look at the first graph. Pressure versus temperature. You can see as the temperature increases, pressure also increases, and pressure, the gas cease to exist at absolute zero. You can see the pressure is very less, so volume also negligible. And the second graph indicates the graph for different gases. Even for different gases the absolute zero is the same, but you can look at the change in the slope. So gas A has more expansion according to the temperature and it is reaching it. Clear? So this you can learn from the textbook. Okay. Okay children, any doubt regarding ideal gas equation? You have studied, I hope so, in your chemistry. Clear? Shall we go to now thermal expansion? So this ideal gas equation basically existed on depending on thermal expansion. So now we are going to see how the heat will affect different matter. Whenever heat given to a matter, how it expands. Mainly 3 types of expansion can taking place. So you don't write now, first listen. 3 types of expansion taking place. One is known as linear expansion. Linear expansion means lengthwise expansion. Okay. That means whenever you started heating, the length of the solid material can expand. So that is mainly applicable to the solids. Liquid you cannot say length. Clear? Okay. Nandana, can you give me one example in a daily life where that linear expansion takes place? Because we are, you just take up the electricity chapter we have learned in 10th standard. We also have we are using knife, different weapons, no? Different instruments in our daily life, in our kitchen and in our daily life. Any one example related to any branch. It's not necessarily electricity or mechanics. Can you just give, whenever you heat, some length is increasing.
Melting of any solid, any metal can increase the length.
Yes, correct. That's correct. Okay. In electricity, can Adul can tell me electricity what can happen? Any material which expands.
Copper wire.
Copper wire. Yes. Have you observed the high tension wires? Sometimes it is suspended in the air, it is started hanging. Have you observed in that? High tension wire from the post. Okay. Whenever they tie, it is on a straight line. But after 1 month, 2 months, you can see that cable wires or high tension wires are hanging. Okay. They are not straight. So in this and all, there is a linear expansion taking place because of the temperature in the atmosphere. Nandana has told, we make knife, we make sword, spade, all type of iron weapons, iron machines what we use in our daily life. That is also due to the linear expansion. We have seen that iron, when you started melting, it will turn into liquid. And the iron mason, those who make iron mason, that man will be put it in a particular mold and started beating, and it will turn into different shape of knife and all. So these are the examples. So it is basically expansivity for solids. So that is linear expansion. Then in liquid expansion you can see the volume of the liquid. It's very clear. Have you observed in a daily life? Every day you will have the tea, correct? Whenever you started boiling the water, what do you observe after some time? The content in the water. And now, because you all may be in the kitchen, no? So if you make a tea, if you don't decrease the fire, what gradually observe in the tea kettle? So it rises above, no? If you don't close the fire, naturally the tea will fall down, milk will spill down. So all this is the volume expansivity. So volume mainly applicable for liquids as well as gases. Okay. So these are the different types of expansion, and similarly area expansion. Okay, area of a solid can expand. Okay, so we are moving on to that, 3 types of expansion. So first type of expansion you can write linear expansion. Linear expansion. Okay, first one we are moving on to linear expansion. Linear expansion. Due to increase in temperature, if the length of a solid material, increases, then it is said to be linear expansion. Linear expansion. And how can you measure this linear expansion? It can be measured as the ratio between change in length and original length. Okay, so that is linear expansion. Expansion is equal to del L by L. Del L stands for change in length and L stands for original length. And how it is? It is directly proportional to temperature. How much temperature changes, according to that this ratio will change. So it is directly proportional to change in temperature. Therefore, del L by L is equal to alpha del T. Therefore, del L by L is equal to alpha del T, where alpha is known as linear expansivity constant. Because we have to change this directly proportional constant and we have to apply a proportionality constant. In the case of this length, it is alpha. So, alpha linear expansivity constant. Another name of this alpha, we also call it as coefficient of linear expansion. Alpha also known as coefficient of linear expansion. Coefficient of linear expansion. And this is different for different material. It's a constant value. So alpha is different for different materials. Iron different, copper is different, aluminum is different, brass is different. It goes on like that. Okay, so we are moving on to next expansion. Since area is not so much likely to be not in the very drastic change, so the detail about more than a linear expansion is more applicable in the case of a solid. Only for knowledge you can just write area expansion. It can be less, little bit area expansion will be there in the case of aluminum sheets and all. It can be expanded. You must have seen the PVC pipe itself. If you started heating, how it is increases. So next one is known as area expansion. So we don't have too much detail. You can write it is the ratio between. We can define like that. It is the ratio between change in area, ratio between change in area of a material to the original area depending upon temperature, depending upon change in temperature. Change in temperature. That is equal to del A by A is equal to del A by A is equal to this is also we are using in terms of alpha because length and both area more or less related. So that is why if you wanted to just identify, you can write alpha A delta T. Alpha A delta T means it is a area. Previous one is length. Where alpha A is the coefficient of area expansion. Area expansion. Some books it has given linear expansion is alpha L. Some books it is given alpha L. So you understood it is linear expansion. Alpha A, area expansion, and naturally volume expansion is going to be alpha V. So third one, volume expansion. So same definition, what you have to change? Only instead of area you change in volume. Change in volume and original volume depending upon change in temperature. Just change it that equation and write like this, delta V by is equal to alpha V delta T. So ratio between change in volume and original volume thus is equal to so alpha V is known as coefficient of volume expansion. Coefficient of volume expansion. So this also different. All this one alpha V, coefficient of volume expansion or volume expansivity constant. Area of expansion we also known it as area of expansivity constant. So these all are different for different material. Okay, hope you have completed that one. So shall we go to the next topic? Now these are the only just knowing, we are not going to learn much detail about it. These are the things happening. Now next topic what we are moving on to, what about energy? What is the relation between heat energy and other things? And the first thing, yes?
Can you show the last page again?
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So next we are moving on to internal energy. So far we have already learned about whenever the heat energy has been supplied to a system, according to molecular theory, the molecules and atoms will start moving. Okay. Because of that they have a kinetic energy. So in all the mechanisms we have not conservation of energy. The same thing is applicable in the case of thermal properties also. When a liquid, when it is not heated, every liquid or solid or gas will have potential energy. Once you started heating, that potential energy due to heat energy converting into kinetic energy. So as a result, when kinetic energy increases, the molecules start vibrating randomly, as I explained in the last class, randomly, and heat energy will be transferred. Okay. So total kinetic energy and potential energy of all atoms and molecules in a material is called internal energy. So what is internal energy of a molecule? It is the total kinetic energy and potential energy of all atoms or molecules in a material is called internal energy. And what changes taking place when you started heating? Movement of atoms and molecules increases, gradually kinetic energy increases, therefore total internal energy increases.
Ma'am,
Yes.
should we copy the whole paragraph?
Yeah, that you can write. This is the only thing, what is internal energy. The total kinetic energy and potential energy of molecules is known as internal energy. And what happened? As the temperature increases, how it changes? Kinetic energy increases, therefore internal energy increases. You can write it short. First you write the main definition of internal energy, and the second point you write it short. As temperature increases, kinetic energy molecule increases, so internal energy increases. Okay.
Ma'am,
Uh, Yeah.
1 more minute.
Don't write heat and specific heat capacity. Let me explain to you. You only complete internal energy. Okay. Now, on the basis of internal energy, some new terms related to heat energy. The first term, what we call heat capacity. So, according to the structure of the molecules, every material has a capacity, different capacity of heat energy absorbing and releasing. Okay. So, heat capacity means it is the amount of a substance or amount of heat energy that is needed to raise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So, every substance has its own heat capacity. So, you see, while we are cooking, if the vessels are steel, your mother uses the cloth. Why do we mother uses the cloth? Why? Why do we mother uses cloth or something to hold on the vessels? What's the peculiar feature of the cloth and the vessel? Girls will be more knowing about this cooking thing, no? More than boys. Correct? So, it's very simple. You know that why your mother hold the cloth to take the vessel from one gas stove to other gas stove, because if you use the cloth, the heat will not be transferred to your mother's hand or she will not get burned. But the vessel is hot enough. That means these are two different material. So, heat capacity of the vessel is very negligible. So, once it started heating, it will radiate heat energy. But the cloth means it will take time. It will take time to absorb the heat energy and become hot. Okay. So, what is the meaning of this? It is the amount of heat energy that is needed to raise its temperature. For example, a substance have 20 degrees Celsius. After heating, it was increased to 21 degrees Celsius. So, in order to give from 20 to 21, in order to raise from 20 to 21, how much heat energy that material needed to absorb, or how much energy it need to absorb. So, that is known as heat capacity. Okay. So, that is why solid metals will become hot faster than insulators. Wood, rubber and all those things, it may not catch fire faster as you catch the vessels, steel vessel, aluminum vessels and copper vessels. Correct? So, from 20 degrees Celsius to become 21 degrees Celsius, how much heat energy required? So, that is known as heat capacity. So, heat capacity you can write down now. Heat capacity of a substance is amount of heat energy that is needed to raise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So, we represent heat capacity in your according to NCERT book, it is capital S. In your ICSE book, they use capital C. Even some of your reference material, heat capacity we use a C, but we will follow the S, what is given in NCERT. So, we represent with the letter capital S, and it is actually equal to delta Q by delta T. That is heat energy per 1 degree Celsius. Del Q by del T. Q stands for heat energy, T stands for time. So, amount of heat energy per unit degree temperature, that is known as, so you can write it, it is joule per degree Celsius. The SI unit of heat capacity is joule per degree Celsius. Okay, children. So, remaining one we will deal in the next class. Okay. Thank you.